Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. You guys know the deal on this channel. It's all about setting the record straight, stopping the lies, stopping the narratives. The narratives, guys, that's the key. Stopping them from rewriting the history. And in this video, so we're going to talk about something I mentioned earlier, LeBron James and the max contracts. And LeBron James always trying to control the narrative. And that's what a max contract is, guys. LeBron James attempting, in his way, to control the narrative. Remember, they can't trade him wherever they want to trade him if they wanted to trade him because he's able to control that narrative by having that no trade clause. And it's an absolute embarrassment that LeBron James, in year 22, is allowed to have a no trade clause. I mean, this man is not worth a no trade clause. He hasn't earned a no trade clause. He's not deserving of a no trade clause. Maybe 5-10 years ago? Absolutely, man. LeBron James got no trade clause. I ain't got no problem with that. But LeBron James in year 22, LeBron James over the last 5 years, how can this man have a no trade clause in his contract when this man don't play a lick of defense? We're going to talk about this video. Once again, LeBron James controlling the narrative with the no trade clause. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world, everyone across the states, man, that's been supporting my channel. Like I said, shout out to the Philippines, to Canada, Mexico, shout out to everybody in Spain, Croatia, Italy, France, Ireland, Germany, Norway, Romania, Uzbekistan, Australia, New Zealand. Shout out to all you guys, man. South Africa, Sierra Leone. Shout out to the Bahamas, Trinidad and Tobago, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, man. Shout out to all you guys out there, man. Like I said, Belgium, the Netherlands. If I didn't mention you guys, much respect to all you guys out there. I know people be out there from all over the world, man. Thank you very much, guys. It truly means a lot, man. Shout out to everybody in the membership. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, I wanted to touch briefly on something I was talking about earlier. And I saw some of you guys in the comments mentioning LeBron James and the no trade clause. Now, I've seen other people talking about this. And we touched on it briefly in the live yesterday. LeBron James had a no trade clause. So it was one of those deals where, I saw some of you guys talking about, how could the Lakers have traded LeBron James? They couldn't trade LeBron James because of the no trade clause. So they traded Anthony Davis away. Once again, their best player, Anthony Davis, to the Dallas Mavericks. Okay, so we get all of that, right? We get the no trade clause. And if I'm accurate, I believe right now, this season, LeBron James and Bradley Beal might be the only players with a no trade clause right now this season. I could be wrong about that, but I don't know if Kawhi Leonard has one. I'm not sure, but I think Bradley Beal and LeBron James are the only players in the league right now currently with a no-trade clause. I could be wrong about this, but let's just go with that. We know LeBron James has one, and we know Bradley Beal has one because they've talked about Bradley Beal waiving the no-trade clause so they could trade this bum. But when we think about the no-trade clause, and I'm talking about LeBron James, guys, when people are saying, the Lakers couldn't do X, Y, Z because he has his no-trade clause, once again, we must remember, this is LeBron James controlling the narrative around his career. Only one that does this all the time. Always trying to control the narrative. LeBron James is more concerned with the narrative more so than anything else. Why? Because his entire career has been based off narratives. The narrative is how people tell a story about LeBron James. They don't give you the factual statements about LeBron James. They give you a bunch of weird narratives, a bunch of weird lies. Rewriting and bending reality. That's LeBron James' career. So LeBron James has to continue the narratives. He has to, like I said earlier, he must always control it. That's his entire career, is about controlling the narrative, guys. And that's why when we come out here and we make videos, people think we're hating because they don't want to listen to the facts. They don't want us to reality. And we're giving you the facts. You don't want to look at the video footage because the video footage exposes LeBron James. So when we think about the no trade clause and we think about LeBron James, this is more of him controlling the narrative. He's allowed to manipulate these franchises and control where he's going to go. So if they want to trade him somewhere, they can't, right? LeBron James has to okay the move. He has to okay it pretty much. That's pretty much what a no trade clause says. He has to okay the move to whatever team that they want to trade him to. It has to be okay with him. It has to be, right? So LeBron James pretty much has carte blanche. He can do whatever he wants without really fear of being traded. So like I said earlier, who the hell is LeBron James to have a no trade clause in his contract at this point in his career? When the man hasn't played a lick of defense in years, has no leadership, and he clearly wasn't the best player on his team. So how the hell could you get a no trade clause when you're not even the best player on your team? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I think there are certain criteria that you have to meet to have a no-trade clause. Like, I believe you have to have been in the league at least 8 years. I could be wrong about that, but I believe you have to have at least been in the league at least 7 or 8 years, I believe. And you had to have been on the same team for like a consecutive amount of years, I believe there was. There's some stipulations in there for you to be qualified for a no-trade clause. And to me, that's laughable because the criteria is not what I thought it would have been. I thought that you would have to have been like an MVP caliber player to get a no-trade clause. Like, I thought there would have been some criteria as far as, what you earned in your career as far as accolades-wise or, the level of player that you were. Because for Bradley Beal to have a no-trade clause, Bradley Beal's never been that dude. He ain't never led a team a damn place. I mean, all those years that he played on the Washington Wizards, was he the best player on that team? I thought John Wall was the best player on those teams all those years, or for most of the time that they were there together. That's what I thought anyways. To me, Bradley Beal has underachieved, hasn't done anything in the league. What has Bradley Beal done in the NBA? He's done nothing. And once again, I'm not saying, sometimes people get confused here when we make these videos. I've never once on my channel ever said that I'm better than any of these guys at basketball, that I could play in the NBA. None of that stuff. I respect these guys for playing in the NBA. I respect the made to the NBA is great. But once again, we're comparing you and holding you to the standard of your other contemporaries. We're not comparing you and judging you against the common folk out there, people like me and you. We're comparing them against the other players that play in the league. So for me, when you think about how much money Bradley Beal has made, the fact there's a no-trade clause, and then you think about the other players in NBA's history that have had no-trade clauses in their contracts and how much money this guy's getting paid, he's not on that level. He's nowhere near on that level. Like, I think guys like Tim Duncan have had no-trade clauses. I think guys like Kevin Garnett have had no-trade clauses. Guys like Dirk Nowitzki, I believe, might have been one of the last players to have a no-trade clause. I think Kobe Bryant had no trade clause. I think David Robinson had a no trade clause in his contract. All those guys I mentioned, does Bradley Beal fit in with any of those guys? Not even close, guys. Not even close. So once again, Bradley Beal is benefiting from something that, to me, he doesn't even fit the criteria to be. But nonetheless, Bradley Beal has no trade clause. And then when we think about LeBron James, my God, once again, LeBron James out there playing for the money and the fame. LeBron James has been signing max contracts. LeBron James has a no-trade clause in his contract to once again control the narrative because we all know LeBron James don't play no defense. So if the Lakers wanted to trade him or if the Cleveland Cavaliers had wanted to trade him back, in the second stint, let's say, they couldn't do anything. They were handcuffed because this is what LeBron James does. He handcuffs your franchise, right? He holds you guys hostage and he controls the narrative. So, one of the narratives we always hear, LeBron James needs more help. He always needs help. It's another narrative, guys, surrounding his teams. So, instead of trading LeBron James somewhere, right, and the team getting help for their franchise to help their franchise, not tell LeBron James, they can't do that. They got to keep LeBron James on the books. He's always going to ask for max contracts, but he's not going to give you the max effort. He hasn't given the max effort in 10 years, guys. The man hasn't given max effort every night since he left Miami. Hasn't done it. He's been low managing since he left Miami, guys. Low managing, hardcore, since 2015. We're 10 years later now, guys. These are the facts. But LeBron James continues to get max contracts. You're not playing the max effort. You're not even playing any defense over the last 5-6 years. This man plays zero defense over the last 5 years, but we know he hasn't been consistent on defense in 10 seasons. Over the last 3-4 years, he's played 0D. Not even inconsistent, just 0D. But still asks for max money, never takes pay cuts, still has a no-trade clause. Dude, who the hell are you to have a no-trade clause? So let's think about this in relation to Michael Jordan, right? Because they always compare LeBron James and Michael Jordan, and this is just another instance, another example of how LeBron James is nowhere near Michael Jordan, guys. Something as simple as their contracts, the way their contracts are set up, the things that they're worried about most. What's LeBron James worried about? LeBron James is most worried about being traded when he doesn't want to be traded. So he wants to control that narrative. That's all LeBron James cares about, the narrative, how he looks. That's why he pays these people to pump him up in the media. So he looks good, to say nice things about him. I mean, how many times do we have to hear one of these ex-NBA players sound ridiculous talking about LeBron James? Like we just saw Gary Payne the other day. Gary Payne said some of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life. The dumbest things that he couldn't even explain. There's none to support this. But Gary Payne's out there talking about LeBron James dribbles better than Michael Jordan. Come on, Gary Payton. Once again, you expose yourself. This is what people need to do for LeBron James. Prop him up. So, when we think about all this, like I said, the narratives, the money that LeBron James is always asking for, and then we look at the effort that he gives, this man's get exposed. He's been exposed. LeBron James thinks he's bigger than the game. Like a lot of these guys think they're bigger than the game. They're not bigger than the game. See, LeBron James is always worried about being traded or controlling the narrative. When we think about Michael Jordan, Michael Jordan had a what? A love of the game, guys. A love of the game clause. I mean, my goodness, guys. Just think about that for a second. LeBron James worried about being traded. He's worried about how much money he makes. He's worried about the free agents. He's worried about more help. That's what he's always worried about, LeBron James. Who can I get to come to my team with me? I don't want to be traded to a place that I don't want to go to. I'm going to make sure I control that narrative. Michael Jordan wasn't worried about controlling the narrative. Michael Jordan was worried about winning. So whatever he had to do to win, sacrifice, right? Play in a system, be coachable, right? Then Michael Jordan did that. Those are the facts. He had the love of the game clause in his contract, which stated that Michael Jordan could play basketball whenever he wanted to, whenever he wanted to, outside of the NBA. That's love of the game, guys. It's like me and you. You know, I remember, from at my family anyways, that, my wife used to always laugh at me because, I would go to a family barbecue or something, I always think about Bad Boys 2 when Martin is talking to the captain. He's like, Captain, but I was at a family barbecue. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, my wife used to always laugh at me when we used to go to family barbecues at my parents' house, and I would always bring my basketball sneakers with me. And she'd always laugh, and she'd be like, why are you bringing your basketball sneakers? Why are you bringing a change of clothes? And I told her, in my family, basketball games will break out, girl, at the barbecue. There's going to be a basketball game breaking out. Whether my cousins out there, my uncles, a basketball game is breaking out, guys. We're going to be playing basketball at some point in time during these barbecues. It always went down like that. Always went down like that. And these games got heated. These games got spicy, man. I remember always fighting my cousins out there. Going back and forth, man, it gets rough. So I always told her, I'm going to bring my basketball sneakers. I'm going to bring my shorts. And I'm going to be ready for a game to break out because the game is going to break out. And I'm going to play the game because I love playing basketball. But more importantly, guys, I love to compete, man. I love to compete against other people. I love to bang into people. And like I said, be out there sweating, what I'm saying, guarding somebody. I don't care if someone does me dirty out there. I'm going to play that D, man. I'm going to give that effort. I'm going to compete, man. That's what it's about. So once again, you're playing with that love of the game. I love basketball so much that even though I'm going to a family barbecue, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to bring my basketball stuff. Because if a game breaks out, I'm getting in that game, man. I'm getting in the game. And I told you, man, one of the things I remember the most from watching my dad when I was young, play basketball in the streets against his friends and, with my uncles and stuff. I told you the one thing that I remembered was the intensity of these guys when they played. I was like 6, 7, 8, 9 years old, guys, watching my dad play ball in the streets in some of these gyms, like I said, against his friends, against my uncles. And I'm talking about the sweat that these men were out there just sweating like crazy, the effort, the hustle, just playing that game, trash talking, you know what I'm saying, diving on the floor for loose balls. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, giving the effort. That's what I remember. I don't remember what my dad's jump shot looked like or how many points he scored out there playing in the streets. I don't remember none of that stuff. The moves that my dad was doing, I don't remember none of this stuff. I remember the intensity, guys. I remember the sweat that these guys had. Grown men going out there playing basketball with that love. Not for money, not for fame. There wasn't a damn person out there watching them but me and my brothers and, and some of the other guys' kids. But they were out there doing their thing. That's what I remember, guys. That's what I remember. These guys today, they think they're bigger than the game. They really believe that. Kevin Durant, he thinks he's bigger than the game of basketball. LeBron James thinks he's bigger than the game of basketball. He really thinks so. And then he just tell us, it's just basketball. It's just, dude, you're getting paid a lot of money to play just basketball. These guys are not humbled at all. They forget what the game did for them. Michael Jordan, a lot of these guys, when you hear them talk about the game, they talk about what the game did for them. What it did for them. These guys, they never talk like that, what the game has done for them. And you never hear them talk about what they did for the game because these guys ain't done a damn thing for the game, but the game has done everything for them. And someone like LeBron James hasn't given anything back to the game, even though he's made billions of dollars playing in the NBA, and he's parlayed his NBA into movies, into shoe deals, into commercials, into a clothing line, all this stuff. That's the game of basketball gave him that. Remember, guys, there's no game without the players, right? There's no game without the players, but there's no NBA without the fans. There is no NBA for these guys to get paid the money without the fans going out there. So these guys, once again, should be humbled and should respect the fans a lot more than they do. The star players don't anymore. Like I said, they act like we're not part of the game. So as you guys can see, LeBron James and the no trade clause, the way that he's conducted himself, it's all about controlling the narrative. And these guys think they're bigger than the game. So they're going to demand no trade clauses. They're going to demand max contracts, but they're not going to go out there and give that max effort, man. You know, these guys should be thinking about the league first. They should be thinking about propping up the game first. Then they're all worried about being traded. Because why would you need to be worried about being traded and have a no trade clause? Why would you have to be worried about these things? The reason that these guys are worried about this stuff is because these guys are goofs. They know that. And once again, they don't want to be traded to a team that they don't want to go to. Instead of worrying about playing for that team, you know, a lot of these guys, they know that they're known for being, floppers, or being known for, you know, guys that are, you know, like they're looking to leave, right? Like I said, the grass is always greener for a lot of these guys. So the franchises are put at a disadvantage. Like, you know, I heard people saying, they literally were saying, oh, they traded Luka Doncic away, some people were saying or speculating, because the Mavericks were worried that they were going to lose Luka Doncic and they weren't going to get anything in return for him, that he would have left in free agency without getting anything back. And I said, why do people feel like this? Why do the owners and the teams, the franchises feel like this for a lot of these guys? Because there's no loyalty anymore. There's no loyalty. Something that I don't really mention much on my channel. I talk about integrity and honor because all these things go hand in hand, guys. The loyalty, it all goes hand in hand with honor, being honorable. And once again, being a professional. You should be loyal, but they're not. And I get it, man. Some of these franchises are not loyal either. But they have the advantage, guys. See, that's the way it goes, man. You know, you're not always going to have the upper hand. These players think they're supposed to have the upper hand. Listen, the NBA is a league. You guys don't have to play in the league. That's the whole point here. But it's a privilege for you to play in the NBA. So when you guys think about that way, or if they should be thinking about that way, then you have to understand that you're not going to have the upper hand. Your union is not going to be as powerful. And it's about the NBA first. It's about that shield first. It's supposed to be about the logo first, not about the individuals. So yeah, you might have to get screwed. You might have to sacrifice. Once again, you guys are trying to sell us some nonsense as if your lives are so hard. Woe is me, the NBA basketball player. I got to deal with these weird contracts, and I got to deal with this and that. Dude, are you kidding me? You can't sell to the regular common folk who out there working and busting their ass every day for scraps. I live check to check. Does anyone believe these NBA players are living check to check, man? Literally check to check, guys. If I don't get paid, then guess what? My bills ain't getting paid, man. And my family's in trouble. You know, kids can't eat. You know, things of that nature, man. So please, don't try to sell us that you guys have it so hard. Oh, I didn't get the money I was deserved. Like, it's insane, man. Once again, you're not living in reality. And you guys know the deal, man. LeBron James trying to control the narrative through the no-trade clause like a lot of these clowns. Remember Paul George wanted their no-trade clause this season? The same guy that's been out with a pinky injury. A pinky! You want a no-trade clause. Worst NBA season on record. These guys are a joke, man. Not professionals. You guys know the deal. They're not grown men. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.